Hello and welcome to another color scope for people born in August. Yes, I've given these readings a name of their own. Being a sociologist, we always make up new words, and this is mine, color scopes. I'm Dr. Karen, and you're on Karen's Colors. If you've been here before, then you are very, very welcome back. If not, if this is your first time here, well, let's hope that I have something to offer you that will help you through the month of August 2026. For this month, I've decided to look at the Doreen Virtues Ascended Masters. Now, this particular oracle was created by a well-known tarot creator, and I thought that some of the things that she has to say in her Ascended Masters Oracle might be a benefit to us. So, before we begin anything else, let's do a bit of shuffling, shall we? Now, as you know, I'm still not very good at this, but I am improving through a bit of practice. All right then, let's just choose from the middle in here, and this one will do it. So let's get right into the color, shall we? For this color scope reading, we're looking for some colors for people born in August. And we need three. First one is white on white, which is followed by pink on blue, and the underlying energy is purple on orange. And we turn it the right way around and put these aside. Very well then. The energy that you have as your positive energy, the strength that you bring with you into the month of August, is white on white. And basically, this is all about dealing with the totally unknown, the unexpected, the new, the exciting, but also it's asking you to do something quite different, quite unexplored. The white in the bottom is all about being unsupervised. It's being able to get away from things, to avoid things, to pretend that things are more realistic than they really are, but at the same time dealing with a certain degree of uncertainty and also a degree of deceptiveness, because white, as we know, contains all colors, but at the same time contains nothing that we can identify as a particular hue. In the real world, the top part of this, it's all about confronting and exploring and being curious about what it is that nature out there is and experience is providing for you. So altogether, here we have the adventurer. The struggle that you're dealing with, however, is pink on blue. Here we have someone who, although in the real world has the appearance of being kind and empathic and sensitive to others around them, there is a great deal of vulnerability as well. Underlying this is blue. Blue is about the need for organization, to be dutiful, to stop being demanding, and indeed let others make their demands upon you. And pink and blue together create a form of purple. Now, purple is all about change, and we'll meet that in a moment in the underlying energy. But for now, the pink and blue together are all about having to do your duty, be the person who is responsible, but in the real world, you have very little energy. So despite the fact that you are here trying to be quite an adventurer, getting out there and learning something different, being excited by the fact that you can do things that you've never tried before. This pink and blue is restraining you to a certain extent. And that restraint comes down to how well you are able to carry out your duties without running out of energy. And in many respects, this is sort of as though you were at the end of your journey. You've done everything that you had to do, and now you're exhausted, and it's time to start off in a new direction. That's the obstacle that you are facing. Now, the underlying energy here is purple on orange. Purple and orange are both colors of drama, of crisis, of something going wrong, something that needs to be dealt with. Internally, there is a need for developing a great deal of courage and confidence and just social skills, being able to be seen to be doing something positive. In the real world, there's a lot of change happening, and that change is causing a great deal of disruption in your life. So for August, here is the opportunity for you to stand up, be counted, and overcome the fact that when abrupt changes do occur, you are able to manage them effectively. Now, we'll need to look at not only the colours that are present, but also the colours that are missing. For a start, there's no black. You do have white. There's no red. You don't have any yellow. There's no green. You do have blue. Let's get it over here. There's no brown. You do have orange. There's no grey. But you do have purple and you have pink, but there is no cyan. So in effect, what we have going on here are these 5 colours in 6 varied positions. Now, how do they interact? Well, leaving aside the obstacle at the moment, let's just look at what happens when we interact between the strength and your underlying energy. And we do this by crossing over the drivers. The drivers are the colours that are internal. And what we have here now, instead of white on white, we have white on orange. Orange, as we know, is all about confidence and courage and getting ahead and allowing yourself to be seen in society. And when that orange comes through as you being able to deal with anything, the unexpected, the things that you've never experienced before, stuff that you are curious about, all of those things are available to you. And when you have the confidence to proceed, then the world is wide open and you can do just about anything. As well as this, that underlying curiosity, that drive to discover something new, to deal with the unexpected, comes through in the real world as making changes. Purple often has to do with health issues as well. So you are actually fixing things. It's making things better. So regardless of whether you are driven by this underlying need to experience something novel and new, when those novel and new needs arise as a desire, then in the real world, you can go out and make the changes that are necessary. You are able to rearrange your world, if you like, to make things better for yourself, so that this underlying energy of potential drama and catastrophe that might be there is modified by the white, which allows you to deal with anything that is unexpected. But that's not the only crossover we can have. We also have that underlying energy attaching itself to the issues that you are facing, to the deficits. And again, we cross over the underlying driver. And here, instead of that blue organizing need, the need to get on with the job, to make sure that you maintain the responsibilities and the duties that are allotted to you, now, instead of coming through as being utterly exhausted, It comes through as playful energy. But that playful energy can also be quite destructive. So here we have the opportunity for you to make major changes. But those major changes can also disrupt whatever peace and comfort and stability you have inside. So the more you are striving for that comfort and that stability, the more likely it is that if you're using your underlying energy to link to the problems that you're dealing with, then you are likely to create destructive changes rather than creative ones. On the other hand, this need for confidence and courage and being able to go out into social life and be counted for someone who is able to do things competently comes through as not enough energy. Now, when that happens, there is a tendency here to emit the ideas that you have a great deal of false bravado. Yes, you are brash and confident internally, but in the real world, there is very little follow through. And that's what we see here with the pink as a deficit. Pink is the baby color. It's the color associated with vulnerability and the need for assistance from others. But we can also look at these in terms of a crossover between the strength and the weakness itself. And when you put those together, there is always the possibility that something is going to go awry. Because if we exclude the underlying energy or we ignore it, then this is what's likely to happen. We end up, firstly, with white over blue. That need for organization and stability in life comes through as an emptiness, and suddenly you find yourself having to review what it is that you are doing in life. It's looking at things from a different perspective, being forced into having to take a second look at how you are managing your life. Pink on white, on the other hand, is upside down justice. You're feeling curious, you're wanting to explore, there is a desire to get out and do something novel and new, but in the real world, you are vulnerable to whatever it is that comes at you. You cannot control this white. When pink and white are mixed together, we end up with a paler pink. And that paler the pink is, the more vulnerable you are and the less likely you are to be able to attract to you the things that you need. Remember, that pink comes from the obstacle. You're having difficulty in being able to accept the sort of help that you need in order to attract to yourself the sort of right meaning, activities, possibilities, people, and experiences that make you feel as though you are winning. So upside down justice means that there is a chance here that when you simply cross over the strength with the obstacle and don't include the underlying energy as part of what is going on in your life, there is every chance that you may be the victim of some sort of injustice during the month of August. Now, let's look at the colours that are missing, because they are important in aligning us with how we can make best use of this underlying energy. Now, putting these aside for a moment, we know that the colours that are missing are black and red and yellow and green and brown and grey and cyan. Now, these 7 colours hold the key to things that you could be doing, opportunities that you could be taking advantage of, skills that you could be acquiring that will help you deal with whatever this disruption is here, in order to make sure that when you do actually find yourself in a situation of total novelty, that you don't find yourself instead having to take on all of the work and be exhausted by whatever it is that is demanded from you. Black is about retreat. It's about allowing yourself to have time out, allowing yourself to discover deeper areas of your own psyche, Red is about being in charge. It's being able to get out there and make demands on the world, but at the same time, having all of the energy that you need in order to do whatever it is that you want to do. Pink here, as the obstacle, says that there's very little energy, very little ability to obtain what you want. If you take on red, then you are actually quite activated. Yellow is about learning new things. It's not just about being exposed to experience, which is what we have here with the white. Yellow is about learning, digesting, remembering what it is that you've done in the past and what it is that you need to remember to do in the future. Green is about accepting and adopting new ideas, new values, but also accepting that opportunities lie everywhere, and it's just a matter of recognizing them and perhaps even jumping on whatever it is that takes your fancy. With brown, you are challenged to try to learn something, some new skill that will enable you to satisfy an aim, a desire, an ambition that you have, that you want to get to do. It's all about practical skills. Grey is all about dealing with the confusion and the lack of clarity that comes when things are not absolutely black and white. When you don't know the absolute truth, but you need to negotiate that fine line between truth and lies. And cyan is all about finding peace and harmony and contentment as a result of accepting that the world is never going to completely do what you want it to. So just allow yourself to be comfortable. So which of those 7 colors is most appealing for you? Which is the least appealing? Take those 2 colors and put them into your life. And as you do so throughout the month of August, you'll find that this underlying energy becomes modified. As it gets modified, so too are your reactions to the things that you are good at, and also modify the things that you are having problems with and diminish those issues for you so that you have a smoother ride through August. Let's now look at what the Ascended Masters have for us. This is Apollo. Focus upon your strengths. What are your strengths? Well, if we look at this reading here, your strength is that you can deal with anything at any time, regardless of what it is that comes your way. So perhaps you might like to consider what skills you will take along that journey with you. Well, it certainly seems like August is going to be a rather transformative month for a lot of us. Maybe your month will be a little less challenging than the reading might suggest. But on the other hand, maybe challenge is exactly what you need at this time in order to help yourself out of the doldrums that have pretty much afflicted us for most of the year. So until I see you again in September for the next Colorscopes, may the colours of your life lead you in a direction that is for your own higher good. Catch you next time. Bye.